Hello and happy Saturday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Saturday weather update for Saturday, October 26, 2024, Halloween weekend. Yes, Halloween is coming on Thursday, and we will have the forecast for Halloween in the United States. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do weather updates and climate updates as well for all things weather in the United States. Sometimes we talk about weather news in other parts of the world as well, but today our first story is definitely going to be in the United States because there's a drought problem ongoing in a large part of the United States. So if you're new to my channel, want to be informed with what's going on with the weather, want to be in to know what's coming in the near future, subscribe down below. Give this video a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and of course leave your comments down below. My goal here on the channel is to give you a low hype and accurate outlook of what's going to be happening over the next 7 to 10 days when I do each of my videos. We don't do them every day, but we do them as needed. Alrighty, starting off today with Delaware, and it's not just Delaware. There's a lot of places dealing with drought, but this is new. The governor of Delaware, Governor Carney, issues a drought watch for Delaware. Newark draws water from reservoir. Yeah, things are really getting dry, and it's to the point where they do need to issue a drought watch in Delaware because this is a record-breaking dry spell that's ongoing right now. In fact, just a little bit further to the north in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we are about to set the record driest October ever. And we did record a trace of rain the other day, but that doesn't really count. So it's going to be the driest October ever because there's not going to be any precipitation between now and the 31st in Philadelphia. Taking a look at what's going on across the United States, you can see here, there is that front that came through in the northeast, and now it's down to the south, and it's in the southeastern states. Very limited moisture with that, and you also see there is another impulse in the midsection of the country. Not much fanfare with that, and relatively quiet on the west with exceptions to the Pacific Northwest where there is some shower activity going on this afternoon. Here's the shower activity with that front that is going through the southeast. This will actually get hung up off the coast and develop a little disturbance out in the Atlantic, but it's not going to do much for the United States. Taking a look at the national hazards map, we do see that there are issues in the northeast with wildfire potential. That's right, there is an elevated wildfire risk today, and because of that, there are red flag warnings that are up for portions of New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and even into New Hampshire. Due to the fact that conditions have been so dry, the relatively humidity is very low, and there's this wind that's coming out of the northwest. That all combined together does raise the risk of wildfires. Alright, taking a look at the tropical perspective, not a lot to talk about. Over the next 7 days, it is going to be very quiet. Taking a look at the GFS to see if there's any tropical activity in the near future, and we could see some more tropical activity. You can see here, around hour 150, it does try to get a disturbance going down in the Caribbean, and we've been watching this for some time. Whether or not that actually happens will remain to be seen. Other models do show a little bit of a disturbance, but they don't place it in the same general area. Taking a look at the drought map, you can see here, severe drought now across portions of southeast Pennsylvania, Delaware, as mentioned, New Jersey, and then you go out to West Virginia and Ohio, and we actually have to take a look here. It is extreme drought and exceptional drought. Don't see any of that in Pennsylvania yet, but if we continue this dry, that could pop up. And then you can see the rest of the country, just very dry. But I do have some good news for you. Some of this is going to change slightly. There are some indications now that there could be a slightly wetter, more active pattern popping up in the near future. First off, let's take a look at the days 1 through 7 precipitation. You can see the midsections of the country are going to see 1 inch to 1.5 inches of precipitation with locally higher amounts, and the wet pattern that you've been experiencing in the Pacific Northwest, places like Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, that pattern is going to remain in place for you, and it is going to be extremely wet. I mean, you can see here amounts anywhere from 3 to 5 inches, even 5+ inch amounts showing up in the higher terrain. So yes, that is something that's going to continue, but you don't see a lot of precipitation in the Northeast. You do see a few blobs of amounts over half an inch, but very dry for Pennsylvania. But I'm going to show you on the modeling down the line, beyond the 7 to 10 day frame, that may start to change. We'll have to see how this actually ends up playing out. All right, I have to show you this elevated fire risk. Here it is today across portions of the northern mid-Atlantic into the Northeast, right along that 95 corridor, and there is also a wildfire risk across portions of Montana and Wyoming for today as well. So that's something we need to be keeping our eyes on as well. And then tomorrow, we see that the elevated wildfire risk does continue in the Northeast. It shifts a little bit more north. Wouldn't surprise me if that gets expanded. And then we do see in portions of the plains, there is an elevated risk for wildfires tomorrow. So, yes, we'll probably see another day of red flag warnings issued tomorrow. All right, taking a look at the NAM for the next couple days. And you can see here goes that disturbance with that front in the southeast. You can see it will form an area of energy, and it may provide some showers to North Carolina, and it'll kind of just get hung up off the coast. Not terribly concerned about that. And as we head into Monday, take a look here. Relatively quiet for much of the country, but we do see here some showers will move into New England, and at this point, we will take anything we can get. And as we come into Tuesday now, that's Tuesday evening, actually, that would come through there. We do watch this system right here, which does provide some potential rain for the northern plains and portions of the Midwest. And of course, back out in the mountains, we're talking about some snow because it is getting to be that time of the year. Now taking a look over on the European model. We're going to take a look at a couple things on the European model. First off, I'm going to show you the precipitation through the entirety of its run. You can see things start off relatively quiet, at least in the east. There's that little disturbance that sets up off of the coast. And the European actually does throw some showers back to Florida, Pacific Northwest. Below average temperatures for you, and you do see some precipitation, a fair amount of precipitation. And here comes that system I was just mentioning at the end of the NAM. We'll have to keep an eye on this. It will be relatively warm out ahead of this system, so there could potentially be maybe a thunderstorm risk for portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, maybe even Missouri as well. And this could be a multi-day thing where maybe it starts up on Tuesday night, and then yet again, maybe another risk for thunderstorms Wednesday night. Take a look at this. From Texas, even up to Chicago. We'll have to keep an eye on this. I think it would be at minimum marginal risk to slight risk worthy from the Storm Prediction Center. And ahead of this, take a look at this. I have to show this to you. On Halloween Day, look what happens in the east. Yes, widespread 70s and even localized 80s. I'm still in strong belief along the 95 corridor we're going to break into the 80s because, when things are so dry, the models can sometimes underdo temperatures by 3 to 5 degrees. And we saw that happen just last week. We saw a few areas where the models underdid temperatures by several degrees just because when it's so dry and the humidity's low, the temperature can radiate upward much faster. All right, getting back to precipitation outlook here, we can see that front does come east, but look what happens. Yet again, the moisture kind of doesn't really hold up together. But watch what happens with this front as I advance this. It kind of slides to the southeast, but it doesn't fully clear. And look behind us. We're already seeing another round of moisture starting to build across Texas and the central region. And look at this. You can see here we have more of a southwest to northeast flow, or almost a west to east flow. Look at this. Multiple disturbances get going. A boundary kind of stalls a little bit. Yeah, this is the end of the European now. Next weekend into the following week, we'll have to keep an eye on this. We could see not a lot of rainfall, but should that happen, we would start to see a few disturbances and finally some measurable precipitation into the northeast, places like Pennsylvania, the Ohio Valley, where you desperately need it. Now, it's not going to break the drought by any means, but hey, like I said before, with that disturbance in the northeast, and I'll say for anyone else, it is beneficial rain. Take any rain you can get. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Ohio, St. Louis, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I mean, all these places desperately need rainfall. And I think as we start to get beyond a 7-day period, the chances for at least some light rainfall amounts will start to increase. And of course, you will have also have that chance. Let's reverse for a second for some precipitation with that front on Wednesday night, because there's going to be thunderstorms along this. Damaging winds and maybe some hail would be the main threat. I don't know if there's going to be a tornado threat just yet. We'll have to revisit that in the coming days when we get in range for the higher resolution models. All right, let's take a look at the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. And a lot of this data here goes based on ensembles. And the ensembles are seeing what I just mentioned as well. First off, the temperatures. You can see above average temperature, well above average temperatures in the southeast, below average in the west, and portions of Alaska will be above average, with western Alaska being below average temperatures, and Hawaii above average temperatures. Take a look at precipitation. Yes, the midsection. You're seeing that moisture. They're seeing it too on the ensembles, which leads to a 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook of much above average precipitation for the Four Corners region and Texas, and that extends all the way up into the Midwest. And you see slightly above average now showing up for Pennsylvania. Take a look at this 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. That's one thing that really isn't going to change. Temperatures likely would stay above average for many areas, with exceptions to southern Arizona and southern California. But take a look at this on the 8 to 14 day outlook. Slightly above average precipitation in the Northeast. We're not seeing below average precipitation in the Northeast now. And finally, around 8 to 14 days, they're seeing slightly below average precipitation in the Northwest. We'll have to see if that happens. Should that happen, I think the precipitation belt would flip more from the southwest to northeast, coming from, say, Texas area and Mexico into the northeast, and we would see these little boundaries that slow down because, again, there's going to be an area of high pressure in the Atlantic that's going to pump a ridge with continuous warmth. But along that, if this boundary stalls, like I showed you on the European, you would get areas of energy, ripples of energy that provide some rain. Not enough to end the drought, but hey, again, take any rain you can get. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Saturday weather update. I think we will have another weather update again tomorrow. We will revisit this to see if it is still showing up on the models. When I'm not doing these updates, you can follow me over on X at Climate Data Report. That is RPT. It's abbreviated. They wouldn't let me get the whole thing in there. And over on Blue Sky, it is the full Climate Data Report. Go follow me there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know. I will see you all again next time. Until then, have a fantastic Saturday evening. Once again, thanks for watching.